Good morning and greetings to everyone out there in music world. From Prog Monster, my name is Murph and I am the host of this show today. So, we're doing a look back at a classic rock album, this one from 1975, from one of my group of seven favorite bands, and it's one of the masterpieces that this group released. It was their first kind of really successful album on a fairly reasonably bigger label than they were on. At this point, they had all of their original members still in the band, and the album is a step up from what they had done previous to this. Is their fifth studio album, and yes, of course, I'm talking about Chicago-based progressive kind of arena kind of hard rock band called Styx, and this album is called Equinox, with the fire and the ice together. I think it's a really decent cover too. I really quite dig it. The album is from top to bottom all strong songs, no real weak sisters, let's put it that way. There's a couple songs on here that maybe I'm not as into as some of the others. A lot of it too is I've listened to this album a lot when I was younger, and then last year I was listening to a lot on when I started getting into doing this channel, and then I bought this CD recently again. So I've had it on album, I've had it on cassette, and now I have it on CD, and I'm listening to it quite a bit now. So anyways, the album was released December 19th 1975 from Paragon Studios in Chicago. Length is about 35 minutes, and it's on A&M label. A bigger label than they were on, but there's some problems with that even. And of course, it's produced by Styx. So some of the things about this album, it was Styx's first kind of bigger album. Better quality album, better than the Wooden Nickel ones anyways. It features for Styx, James J.Y. Young on vocals and electric guitar, Dennis D. Young on vocals and keyboards, John Kurolewski, and I hope I got that right, on vocals and electric and acoustic guitars, Chuck Panozzo on bass and vocals, and John Panozzo on drums and percussion. Okay, so anyways, that was the band Styx at that time. Shortly after they did this album, John Kurolewski left the band. Now, at that time, they said that it was because he wanted to spend more time with his family, but it's come out later years that he didn't really get along well. He was always negative about everything, and it's kind of doubted his abilities a bit. And I think they just got fed up with him, and they just told him he used to threaten to leave the band all the time, and then one time he threatened, and they just took him up on it and said, okay, goodbye, and that was the end of him. And it's unfortunate. I mean, he contributed quite a bit. I think he was a decent writer, and he leaned more toward the progressive element than some of the other members, and maybe we would have had a very different Styx if he'd stayed, but I don't think he was the leadership type. It was pretty much Dennis D. Young in control at this point in time. Anyway, so there's 8 tracks on the album. I think there's 8 tracks on the album if you count Prelude. So then, anyways, I really like quite a bit of the songs on this album. Light Up, of course, is a classic radio song, as well as one of my first favorite Styx songs. Rumor has it was written about smoking pot, but it's a very upbeat song. Lots of bubbly keyboards, lots of bubbly guitars. Dennis does the vocals. Actually, Dennis does the vocals on every song on the album except for 2, I believe. One that JY does, and one that John does with Dennis. They do one together. Okay, so a pretty solid track. Lorelie the same. Lorelie was maybe their next big hit after Lady, so kind of cementing themselves. Again, Dennis DeYoung on vocals. It's a more of a commercial sounding album. Solid drums, guitar. The guitar leads are great on this. I really like them. Wasn't one of my favorite songs initially. I found it a little bit too commercial, but it's grown on me over time. Mother Dear was the song that I think it's a bit of a weaker sister, but not. It doesn't fall into filler category for me. I like the song quite a bit still, even though it's a little bit weaker. This is the one that John Kurolewski and Dennis DeYoung do the vocals together, and apparently Dennis does the chorus while John does the verses. Okay, Lonely Child was one of my first favorite type of I hesitate to use the word ballad. I don't think it's a ballad. It's more of a power ballad. It's kind of like Lady is, actually. They're very similar that way, starting out quietly and building and then getting heavier as the song goes along. And it's really quite a heavier song. Heavy guitars and drums. Nice. I like the intro. It's this kind of sad kind of acoustic guitar. I don't know if it's acoustic. I think it's actually might be electric guitar, and it's just builds up sad. This kind of a sad feeling in you when you hear it, and it starts fairly quickly. The song too. The next song on the album that I kind of like this song. I think it's one of JY's better vocal songs and one of his better songs. Of course, it's one of the heavier songs on the album. It comes pretty much in the middle. Lots of heavy guitars, and it just crunches along. I like this song. It's not in my top 3 or 4 on the album, but I still really like it quite a bit. The next song is Born to Adventure. This is a song that I didn't listen to much early on, and it wasn't until recently that I really listened to the song. I found myself singing it all the time. I really love Dennis's voice on this. I love the heaviness of this song. I love the guitar, heavy guitar riffs and the guitar solos. Just fantastic, great song. Maybe my second or third favorite song on the album now. The next song is just a brief intro into Sweet Madam Blue, but it's an acoustic bit. Probably the last thing that John does on the album, really, of his own nature, before he leaves. But he does a good job, and apparently it's a 12 string acoustic, which is nice. That's different. You don't see that a lot. Anyways, it leads up to Sweet Madam Blue, which is, to me, the best song on the album and one of my favorite Styx songs of all time. It has this kind of sadness, like Lonely Child. It's got this kind of sadness to it at the beginning, and it just keeps building and building until they get to the real heavy part with the guitars and the mellotron. And again, of course, Dennis is singing in this, and it's got that kind of an eerie melodic sound to it as well. Anyways, it gets once it gets past that heavy part, it gets into this part where they just do this repeating phrase, singing America, 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 and there's like 4 of them singing it, so it's just one. Like it sounds like it's. I've listened to it, and I think it's Kluwiski first, Dennis DeYoung, JY, and then Chuck Panozzo actually does some vocals. I think it's one of the few times, I think it may be the only time that he does vocals on an album by Styx. And his bass is quite good in this song and this album too, much better than I originally remembered him being. Anyways, there you have it. That's Equinox, a fantastic album, a grand master album for me. Probably definitely in my top 2, maybe top 3 albums from Styx, and maybe top 25 overall. A great album. So if you like If you like this video and you want me to do more, please like me in the like below, and please subscribe to me. It would be great. The more subscribers I get, the more chance I can to buy more stuff that I want to do and enjoy to do and like to do it. So coming up will be my top 10, and I decided to do Black Sabbath this time. These were supposed to be out on the weekend, but I had some family issues, so I wasn't able to get to it. And then I will do another look back, and I may do one that's more of a recent album review, like something that, for me, recent means it happened in the last 10 years or so. That's fairly recent in rock history. So I'll be doing one of those. And then we're going to get into some different stuff, I think. I've been working on the idea of doing a rock history review or rock musical history of somebody, and I've been working on that quite a bit, and I'm hoping to get that out there too before Christmas. Christmas time will allow me to do a lot more stuff, which is great. And I want to try and attempt to do a live stream. I'm coming up with a topic now and reviewing it and going over it a bit, so I'm more familiar with it. And then when it's ready to come out, I'll let you know. So anyways, there you have it. Prog Monster, look back at a classic rock album, and I hope that you have a good day. So have a Prog Monster out.